Hi, this is Nick Julian, Sports Information Director at Finger Lakes Community College. I'm joined today by Frank Clark, Head Softball Coach, for today's episode of The Lakers Blueprint.
Absolutely. So I was a physical education teacher in the Victor School District for over 35 years. And probably like most physical education teachers, I've coached a variety of sports from different levels, from modified to varsity, JV. I've coached varsity baseball, varsity boys and girls basketball, varsity boys and girls volleyball, as well as varsity softball, where I was a head coach, as well as an assistant coach for a number of years in the Victor program. I've coached a number of travel teams and also helped out in the Penfield program before I took the position here. So probably the biggest lesson I learned was how much and how many activities that the student athletes have going on in their life, between not just softball, but academics, work, social life. They really have a lot of different things and activities that they're trying to balance here. And one of the things that I really learned is I probably over-practiced and didn't give them enough time to have the balance between academics, social, work, and softball. Sure. So, kind of piggybacking off the first question or the last question of things that I learned, I also learned that the skill level here is there's a wide variety. So, one of the things I want to do next year is I want to differentiate the learning a little bit more. One of the things I incorporated, but I think a little bit too late, was working in smaller groups. So, cutting practice time down for the students, our student athletes, and bringing them in small groups. So, for example, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, bringing in a group of 4 or 5 athletes, student athletes, and working with them individually to try to make them improve a little bit more on their skill level. But that will also give them a couple of days off as well. So go Monday with individual work, Monday, Wednesday, Friday individual work, go Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday with teamwork, so we still have that time to bond together, to also put in all of our team drills and our team skills as well. But one of the big things I learned that I probably should have done that a little bit more, so we're going to change that next year and do some more individualized, smaller group instruction. Sure, so that's a hard one, and it's always hard to simulate what you do in a game in practice. But we try to do that as much as possible. So we try to compete a lot in practice. So after we do all of our skill work, our individual work, our semi-group work, our teamwork, we try to put them into competitive situations. So whether that's hitting or whether that's fielding, and if they don't complete the task, then we always try to have some kind of a consequence. So the kids will have to run, they'll have to do something extra, something that just puts some kind of pressure on to try to give them a feel of pressure in practice. So when they're in a situation in the game, they've already felt that pressure in practice, which we know is not easy to do. That's one of the hardest things as a coach to do. But I also think that if you teach the kids how to successfully do a skill, that they also get that confidence in practice. And I know in practice a lot of times we'll finish with a game-winning situation. We'll hit a ball to the outfield and they'll have to come up and they'll have to perform the skill and do it correctly in a game or in practice, so that they're in the game, we can say to them as coaches, hey, we got this, we've done this in practice. You've already done this. So that kind of gives them that confidence to take that nervousness off of them a little bit. But it's not easy to do in any sport, especially in the game of softball. So what really motivates me as a coach is first of all, looking upon things as a challenge. I think coming off of last season, we've got a lot of challenges ahead. But that motivates you to get better. One of the things that always excites me as a coach is learning something new. So I'm always online. I'm always calling coaches, hitting instructors that I know in the area to try to find out what they're doing, to try to give my student athletes the best, the cutting edge of every single thing that's being done in the world of softball. Watch a lot of softball. That's still something that you can do and see what other teams are doing. So instead of just watching the game, you watch what happens inside of the game. So I call it the game within the game. So all those things still motivate me, trying to get players to be better. And what really motivates me is to try to get a student athlete to do something they didn't think they could do, and to see the look on their face when they accomplish something that they never thought that they would be able to accomplish. So those things still keep me going and still motivate me to do my best and bring my best to my team every single day. right? I definitely think we're heading in the right direction. So if you take a look at the recruits coming in this year, first of all, they're high character kids. You know, we always go after and recruit high character individuals to try to create a really positive culture in what we're doing. So I think that you're going to see that they're all high character players coming in. The second thing is they're all very strong academically. So that's really important to us as well, is that we're student athletes first. So you'll see that. And I just think that you'll see the overall talent and the understanding. That's probably the biggest part, is I think we're going to have players coming in that really have a true understanding of the game. So in practice, when we play and we do drills with the game within the game, they really understand where I should throw the ball, where I should be moving. They'll be talking a little bit more. So I think that's really going to improve greatly across the board.
All right, Coach, it's time for a rapid fire Q&A segment, and we'll kick it off with your most memorable game moment.
From this past season was definitely our first win against Adirondack. Just seeing the relief and the joy on the student athletes' faces when they finally got that first win under their belt and saw all their hard work pay off. So that was definitely my favorite moment from this season.
What are the top 3 qualities of a great coach?
I think, first of all, they communicate well with their athletes. They have high expectations. And I think, I would say probably organization. Knowing that when my players know when they come in, before they come to practice, they already know what they're doing. I send the practice schedule out in the morning, so they come in, the drills are well organized, one after the other, so there's no standing around, we're not wasting their time. So I would say communication, organization. I think also being a teacher should be in there too. You know, being able to break down skills and correct. You know, we seem to see a lot of coaches that'll just tell a player what they have to do, but won't teach them what to do. So I think that's important as well.
What's your favorite drill to run?
Oh, by far is greenie board. So greenie board is a hitting drill where we put 2 teams against each other and we rate their hits on a scale of 1 to 4. So 4 being the best they can do, 1 being a foul ball, and we keep track of the score and they compete against each other. They can yell and scream at each other to try to get their focus off. There's always a consequence for the non-winning team. But what my favorite part of it is when they start to argue about whether it's a 3 or a 4. They think it's a 4, we rated a 3, so we kind of get going back and forth and just have fun with it.
What's one word to describe your coaching style?
I would say teaching. I try to teach, I try to correct, I try to give them confidence. So I would say being a teacher.
What's the best advice you've received?
Oh, by far, I would say it is to surround yourself with people who are better than you at something, no matter what it is. It could be organizational skills, it could be skill work, it could be strategy in a game, but I'm very fortunate with Coach Caggiano to find him and get him on staff, but by far is to try to find someone better than you to do something on your staff.
Do you prefer a morning or an evening practice?
I would say evening. I think we get more out of our student athletes in the evening. In the morning, it seems like they just don't want to be there. I like morning, but I think for my student athletes, it's got to be evening.
Infield or outfield?
Infield. I was an infielder my whole life. I take the infielders. Coach Caggiano takes the outfielders. So I would say infield.
Favorite sports movie?
Oh, Miracle, by far. I lived it. I remember the game like it was yesterday. So I would definitely say Miracle.
This might be a loaded question, but what's the most underrated skill in softball?
I would say there's 2. I would say communication being 1, and then I would just say movement, backing up, being in the right spots. I tell my players all the time, if you're standing still, you're doing something wrong. Make sure you are moving because there always could be something that happens. And if you don't move, ball's gonna find you.
Who is your coaching idol?
I would say definitely right now is Coach Edwards, Bill Edwards. He was the coach at Hofstra University when my daughter played there. He's in his 80s right now, and he's still very motivated about the game, very energetic about the game. He's really my mentor right now. I still talk to him on a regular basis, so I would definitely say Coach Edwards has been my idol as far as coaching softball.
Well, perfect, Coach. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.